You see, back in the 80s, it was considered early onset disorder.
Okay. I don't know that I've heard that. Early onset disorder, but it didn't say autism?
Well, autism was considered an early onset disorder.
Oh, I see. I see
In
what
other
you're saying.
words, uh, it had to have symptoms before age 3. We take a lot of the Asperger type, and I know that term's gotten trying to get rid of that term.
Right.
That's the ones socially awkward with no speech delay.
Right.
Is
Now,
basically what Asperger's is.
and that's, and I think what's happened is that a lot of the people that would have been termed Asperger's, once they lumped it all together, came in and embraced the term autism, which is wonderful. But at the same time, I sometimes worry that we're losing the more classic autism folks.
So what you're calling classic autism, these are kids that definitely had speech delay. I
Right.
mean, when I was 2.5, I looked really severe. The one good thing was I did not have epilepsy. They checked
Right.
for epilepsy and they checked for deafness. That's about all they could do back in 1949 when I was taken to a neurologist. Fortunately, it was a neurologist, and a very progressive neurologist that referred me to a speech therapy school that 2 teachers taught out at their home. Very good teachers, and they really helped me out.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's the people around us that really can change things.
Now, what I've heard from a lot of adults that get diagnosed later in life, they tell me they realize they're on the spectrum when the kids or the grandkids get diagnosed. They say it's relief
Yes.
on the relationships. I've had many adults, I really had like 20 adults at different conferences tell me that. Now, what I'm afraid of is that label the teenager. I'm seeing not enough of learning work skills, learning life skills. I think it might actually be holding them back because the
Oh,
parents do everything for the kid. I'm appalled at that. Now, the fully verbal teenagers I talk to at conferences, and the kid has never gone shopping themselves.
yeah. And
I'm running
that's,
into that all the time.
yeah, like learned helplessness. It's not good.
They're not learning how to do anything. And the other thing that was interesting about the Bill Gates book, it's called Source Code,
Hmm.
is that there's a lot in our upbringing, a lot of things were the same. We had to be in kids' activities. He was put in Cub Scouts. We also had to sell stuff for charity. That
Hmm.
taught you how to talk to people. I was doing that at 9 years old, 10 years old. And the other thing we both had to do is we had to be hosts and hostesses at parents' parties. And you had to greet the guests and take their coat and you serve the snacks. And that was just a 50s thing, a 60s thing. And I'm looking back on it, I think that really helped. Because I see too many kids today and adults today, they're afraid to talk to you. Like they come
Right.
up to the book table and the mom's doing all the talking. Now at conferences, a mom will raise her hand and says, my son wants to ask a question. And I'll say, give the mic to your son. I want your son to ask the question. And I've gotten the son to ask the question in front of a whole big conference.
Wow.
And that'll be the first time they've ever done that.
Wow. Good for them, because that's intimidating.
And I praise them for that. Congratulations for taking the mic and talking to everybody here at this conference.
'Cause that's huge. If you feel
No,
socially
no, that's really
awkward,
important. And the shopping, had a girl come up to me at the airport, 12 years old, fully verbal. They wanted a picture. I said, fine. And I found out she'd never shopped, and I gave her a $5 bill, and there was a shop just across the hall from the gate we were sitting in. And I said, go buy something over there. And she bought a drink and brought me back the change. First time she'd ever shopped by herself. But it was right across the hall.
right,
We could see the shop when we were sitting in the gate.
right. You have to push the boundaries.
You have to stretch without chucking them in the deep end. I'll tell you something that doesn't work. Taking an 18-year-old girl and shoving her in a chaotic clothing store during the Christmas rush.
Ooh,
That failed. That we don't do. That's chucking in the deep end. I want to avoid some of the chaotic multitasking jobs. Super busy takeout windows. There's plenty of other good jobs, so we don't have to push them into that with all that multitasking.
definitely. That makes sense.